Hey guys, it's Tommy with Studio Sense. It's that time again to take a closer look at 10 designer fragrances that are accessible both in fragrance and cost. So when we return, we're going to take a closer look at those so that you can see what's available to you that won't break the bank. So stay tuned because that's coming up next. Hey guys, and welcome back. Yes, the financial belt keeps going up a notch. Everyone's tightening up on their finances, but there are still quite a few fragrances out there that you can look forward to owning or trying out this summer that are going to be cheap and inexpensive. There are two things about these fragrances that are awesome. First, they smell great. Second, they cost next to nothing. So they're very, very cheap, very inexpensive, typically under the $30 or $20 range or hovering thereabouts. A couple of them had monetary changes. I'll go over those really briefly so that you know what you're looking at. So that's my criteria for this list, 10 designer fragrances for this spring and summer that are simple, accessible, smell great, and are affordable. Let's get started. The first is from the Salvatore Ferragamo house, and it is from the Uomo line. All of the Uomo line I absolutely love, but for our purposes today, we're talking about Uomo Casual Life. Casual Life tells you basically what it is. It's right there in the title. It's a fantastic daytime casual wear fragrance that's perfect for the office, but perfect for hanging out. It's very versatile. You can wear this year round, but it's perfect for spring and summer. You can wear it casual. You can dress it up a little bit for semi-formal. It still retains quite a bit of that Uomo pillar fragrance DNA with being a little bit different, so it's worth owning and having on itself. In fact, I wouldn't hesitate to purchase like I did. I blind bought the entire Uomo line just because I'd heard a few good things about them and I was not disappointed. Casual Life will not disappoint you as well. I call Casual Life the Starbucks fragrance simply because it has that iced coffee sweet playfulness to it, that note in there. But it also features notes of lemon, ambroxan, cardamom, violet leaf, cashmere wood, white musk, cedar, and the aforementioned iced coffee note as well. If you didn't have time to brew a cup of coffee before work or grab that Starbucks double shot, spray a couple sprays of this on and it gets that same vibe, that energetic refreshment from that iced coffee note. If you like your fragrances a little bit on the sweet, lightly gourmand side, then this will be the one for you. As such, you can use it on date nights. However, there is a little bit more of daytime sensibility to this than there is that sexy allure. Maybe second dates or platonic dates or just hanging out with friends might be the best venue for this fragrance. Casual Life is an eau de toilette. This is a 100 ml bottle and can be purchased on all online discounters, most major online discounters, for just under 30 bucks. Next is from the house of Davidoff, and it is a citrusy, woodsy, masculine fragrance called Adventure. This one doesn't get a lot of love or buzz because the performance isn't what you would call stellar or superb. However, it does last a good bit of time on my skin, and that projection, that citrusy, woody, masculine projection is just wonderful. It's a fantastic daytime office and day off hang time fragrance, featuring notes of bergamot, green tea, mandarin, black pepper, lemon, pimento, sesame, musk, vetiver, and cedarwood. This one opens up a little bit synthetic and confusing at first, so give it about a good 15 to 20 minutes before you actually stick your nose in the fragrance. You can start picking apart the actual fragrance notes in there, and it all blends very well and is a lot more pleasant than that open is. The open isn't the best, most superb part of these fragrances that I'm going to be featuring today, but this one in specifically is a lot better in the mid and specifically on the dry down. You can begin on the dry down, you can begin to pick apart the slightly sweet, very citrusy, lightly herbaceous quality of each one of its notes. Once the citrus open then is relegated to skin scent, then the dry down opens up, the pepper lifts it off the skin and heralds the green woodsy consciousness of this fragrance into the foreground, and it's a quite lovely masculine summertime fragrance. As such, Adventure can be dressed up a little bit, but it's perfect for the office, again for daytime casual wear, and it's perfect for those if you live in kind of an arid or dry environment. This is perfect for those environments because of its green nature. Adventure can be found on all major discount websites. Occasionally you can find them like at TJ Maxx and other locations, although it's becoming more rare, but you can find it for just at $20. Do you like Invictus, but you're kind of tired of that Invictus DNA and you're out of Mont Blanc Legend Spirit? Then you might want to try Nuparfums Black is Black After Dark. After Dark is a semi-sweet fragrance that is perfect for daytime and nighttime casual wear, and it does have that little bit of that Invictus bubblegum sweetness to it, so it's perfect for date nights as well. This is a young man's fragrance. It can be a clubbing fragrance. It's more like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit than it is Invictus. in terms of that piercing sweetness, but it does dry off quite a bit in the dry down, and all you're left with is a little bit of that sweetness instead of that overwhelming kind of coming to the fore like Invicta, but it's definitely in the same wheelhouse. As such, this is an extremely inexpensive alternative to either one of those. As I said, that pink pepper and cardamom is great for date nights as well. This features notes of bergamot, cedar, sage, pink pepper, cardamom, and sandalwood. This fragrance is cheap enough that it renders any issues with longevity and projection kind of moot, and my wife actually really likes the way this smells on my skin. You can find After Dark by Nuparfums usually at rack stores. This is all over the place. It's kind of becoming harder and harder to find, however, and I've discovered that most online discounters are currently sold out of this. This can be found for 15 bucks on eBay, and it's a fantastic fragrance for that price. However, I will say I don't really care for the faux marble, and then you've got the silver wording. It's kind of hard to even see. So don't really care for the presentation, and if you don't like the presentation on your shelf, I'd say just turn it around because you've got a nice matte black finish on the other side. Might be a good alternative. Azzaro released a 3-part series of fragrances meant to highlight different aspects of the Mediterranean sun, and I think they were decently successful as you can be in such a daunting venture. And this is the second release in the Solarissimo series called Azzaro Solarissimo Marettimo. Just like the name implies, maritime, you think of the sea. This actually is the fragrance designed to remind you of the sea. The gradient in the bottle is representative of the sea getting deeper and darker blue, that azure blue. In fact, I'll just read it directly from the series. It says, reaching its highest point, the sun gleams, it bronzes the skin, warms the sand, it brightly sparkles patterns onto the endless azure sea, spraying its cooling mist. Marettimo captures this moment, a chance to get away and break free. That's in the marketing materials on the Azzaro website. Marettimo is a blue fragrance, but it is one of my favorite blue fragrances because it is a little more complex and deep, and it just isn't like a citrus flavor that kind of goes away after an hour or two. This has great longevity on my skin, and it projects really well. It is versatile enough to be worn through the spring and summer months, the hotter months. It is a great daytime casual fragrance. I wouldn't necessarily wear this at nighttime. Again, versatile enough to be worn year-round. It's one of those that maybe in the dead of winter, if you wear it, it kind of reminds you of the sunshine, and it's as such a feel-good fragrance as well. I'm a very concept-conscious person, and I appreciate the concept behind this fragrance and the line itself. It's an extremely likable fragrance, so that concept just adds another layer of complexity to this. This features notes of Italian lemon, vetiver, calypsone, which is like an aquatic water molecule, mint, cedar, and cistus. Marettimo is a refreshing, energizing addition to the world of blue fragrance that manages to capture everything in the essence of the fragrance that it sets out to do. You can find Marettimo along with its brother Lavanzo. Favignana is not available in the US yet, which is going to be another aspect of this Mediterranean kind of like summer afternoon or on a boat. It can be found at most online discounters for around 21 bucks. And a 75 ml bottle, 2.5 ounces is all that it comes in. It doesn't come in any larger size, and it is an eau de toilette concentration. When I was in high school, Nautica was the brand that you wore if you were preppy or fashion conscious, along with Tommy Hilfiger. This was in the mid-80s, but it wasn't until 2006 that Nautica would release or launch a fragrance that would become one of their most popular fragrances, and that of course is Nautica Voyage. Nautica Voyage is just one of those dumb reaches and easy grab because it gets the job done. It has that fresh aquatic appeal with a green sensibility that you're looking for, a fraction of the cost of most blue fragrances. However, I will say this about Nautica, I don't like its open. It's very synthetic in alcohol. It's just like a blinding alcohol cloud, so you gotta wait for about, again, 10 to 15 minutes for that open to kind of dissipate, and then you can start picking apart the actual notes. Marettimo has a tremendously better open than does Nautica Voyage, but Nautica Voyage is very, very pleasant in its mid. It's got kind of a floral heart, and in that dry down, it becomes more of a kind of a green toned blue, or what I call a blue-green fragrance. Some of the aroma chemicals in Nautica Voyage work to its favor in the dry down, kind of the apple and the green leaves. It's got lotus and mimosa in there, but mostly what I get is in that dry down, you got that white musk and that green moss. So it's got a floral and a green consciousness about it for being a blue fragrance. So if you like your fragrances blue and a little bit green, a little bit vegetal, then this will be the one that you want to try out. It does make it hyper versatile, so it's great for spring and summertime. You can use it in high heat. Be careful, it can be a little bit cloying in high heat, but it also can be worn year-round as a very daytime casual fragrance, primarily in the spring and summer. Nautica Voyage comes in a 100 ml bottle that is really inexpensive. It can be found at all online discounter sites, some rack stores still yet. It's out there at TJ Maxx and Kohl's and other stores. And you don't want to pay more than about $15 or $16 for this for a 100 ml bottle. It is an eau de toilette for about 15 bucks. Now this next fragrance I didn't really care for. At first I was quite meh about it, but the more that I've worn it, it's become kind of a dark horse fragrance. And it is from the house of Banana Republic, and it is M for Man. Now this fragrance does come off as kind of somewhat of a synthetic aroma chemical when you first spray it on. However, it is such a citrusy, bright spring and summer fragrance that I thought I would try it out and wear it. I forced myself to wear it longer than I initially wanted to, and I'm glad that I did because I came to really like it. It was released in 2013, and it's a nice kind of green alternative to most blue fragrances. It features notes of lime, bergamot, green leaves, lavender, sage, violet leaf, white musk, tonka bean, and sandalwood. And tonka bean and sandalwood are such a great kind of combination in this. It gives it that semi-sweet, creamy, light green musk earthiness to it that makes this last in that dry down. It keeps that green sensibility throughout the life of this, along with that creamy, woody, masculine fragrance. It's great for daytime casual wear during the sunny months of spring and summer. This one has average longevity and projection. Don't expect a ton out of that, but again, that's pretty much rendered moot by how cheaply you can get this. This fragrance is still in production, and you can find it on most online discounter sites for around 17 bucks. Now there is a eau de parfum version. This is an eau de toilette. There's an EDP version of this for about 25 bucks that I found on fragrancex.net, so you might want to check that out. If it's anything like this, it might be a little bit heavier, last maybe a little bit longer. Not all EDPs are stronger than the EDT counterparts, however, so make sure to check it out in a sample before you buy that 4.2 or 125 ml bottle size. Although if you decide to do that, you're not going to be really out a lot of money, since all you're going to be spending is like 25 or 26 bucks for the EDP. But I can definitely vouch for the EDT. Nothing says summer sunshine and fun and the beach better than Tommy Bahama. Now this particular fragrance is from the Set Sail line. There was Set Sail Martinique, Set Sail South Seas, if I can say that, and then Tommy Bahama, Set Sail St. Bart. You've heard the song, Put the Lime in the Coconut. This is the lime in the coconut. It is a very limey fragrance, but it's also got kind of a green sensibility to it as well for being a spring and summer blue fragrance. But that's primarily where this shines, is in the lime department. It's a wonderfully aquatic fragrance that sets the right mood when you want to go to the beach in your mind. You can't help when you spray this on to envision the palm trees swaying in the ocean breeze, the breeze coming off the ocean. When you spray this on, you can't help but think of those mixed drinks with the little umbrella in it that you always get at the beach or see someone drinking at the beach. I did a first impressions video of St. Barts. If you want more information on it, you can go check out that video. There's also St. Kitts, which is a wonderful summertime fragrance in its own right. St. Barts, however, is a bit more zesty in the citrus department. It features lime, musk, green notes, guava, more musk, palm tree, and a little vanilla in the base there. The vanilla just gives it a little bit of a creamy sweetness that's very much on top of and around the lime coming out of this. Now let me set the expectation. St. Barts is an eau de cologne concentration, so don't expect this to be beast mode. However, again, you don't really have to worry about longevity or sillage with this at online discounters or eBay or rack stores like TJ Maxx, Target, Kohl's for about 25 bucks. Sometimes you can find it on clearance for substantially less, but right now most online discounters are out of St. Barts. I have plenty of St. Kitts for some reason, but they're out of St. Barts, so probably get it on eBay or Pharmacore or somewhere like that for right around 25 bucks. This next fragrance doesn't appeal to everyone, but I feel it's of sufficient quality to be able to include it in this list, and that is Ermengildo Zegna's Zegna Uomo. Uomo is very much a fragrance that is kind of unique in that it's a very green, it's like slightly citrusy, but primarily green and vegetal in this, especially on the dry down. Now when you do spray this is another one where the open isn't that super great. It's very synthetic. It contains some aroma chemicals that are a little bit overwhelming in the open, but once it starts drying down, again, wait for about 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes for that dry down, then you can start picking apart those notes. This opens up to a decent amount of complexity. This does have about average longevity and projection. It's an Italian concept fragrance that features notes of, it's got a lot of citruses in it. It's got bergamot, violet leaves, vetiver, cedar. It's another great spring and summer fragrance that's more green than blue, or a good mix of that blue-green. It's quite fun, especially on the dry down, to start picking apart the different notes in this, especially that violet leaf. Violet leaf, when done right in a fragrance, is supremo. It's done really right in this. Supremo, of course, is an Italian word that I just made up. But again, violet leaf, when done right, can be a very masculine attribute in a fragrance, and it definitely is in Zegna's Uomo. It's a casual daytime fragrance. It's best utilized in the bright summer sun of spring and summer. However, it's a versatile fragrance, as most all of these fragrances are, and you can definitely wear it, year round. It's just best utilized in spring and summer. Be careful of this one in high heat. The higher heat you go with this, the more that it starts to die off a little bit. Just be careful. Use it in a moderate climate is going to be your best bet for Uomo. This is an Eau de Toilette concentration. The bottle is a little bit funky. I kind of like it. Kind of a ribbed design on it. Kind of awkward to hold in your hand, however. But for the price that you get, now this is one that, as I mentioned, a few prices went up a little bit as I was considering this review. This one you could get for right around 17 to 20 bucks right now. It's kind of hard to find for less than around 30 or just below 30 on most discounter sites. Perhaps on eBay you might find a site for a little bit less. I'll link in the description below where I found it, or if you're interested in purchasing Ermengildo Zegna's Uomo. Another fragrance that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I was extremely pleased with, is Camuto Homme. Again, another slightly vegetal, but very sprucey green and blue fragrance. It's fantastic if you like juniper berries, and if you like kind of a cypress, sprucey, birchy type fragrance, this is going to be the one for you. It was released in 2014. This fragrance performs really well on my skin. My wife likes the way that it smells on me. It's great for casual wear. You can even wear this at night. This is another one of those that I termed it hyper versatile. Hyper versatile simply means that while there is a direct season that this is best utilized in, spring and summer, it's one of those fragrances that just smells so good, and it has so many notes in it that are comparable to a lot of fragrances out there for spring, summer, winter, and fall, that you can literally wear it year-round. It could even be a signature fragrance. Homme features notes of citron, gin tonic, ozone, fennel, blue cypress, French lavender, and juniper berry, which coincidentally is actually what flavors gin. So yes, the juniper in this is very detectable, and that's one of the reasons I like this so much. Resting on a base of spruce, cedar, musk, and silver birch. There is a lot in Homme, making it a complex fragrance from open to dry down. You can detect most of the notes in this, but that cypress, that juniper berry, and that silver birch are such a great trifecta in this, a great combination, and that's really what pulls you into it mostly. It's a very green, woody fragrance that's super masculine and lasts all day for me. I get a good 8 hours out of this. Camuto Homme is available at most online discounters, and you can get this size for right around $24, 25 bucks. This is the 50 ml size. If you did want to go to the 3.4 or the 100 ml size, you're looking at just under 30 bucks, or just over 30. It hovers somewhere between $29 and $32, something like that. Last on my list is from a car manufacturer that has released a ton of fragrances. Many of them are missed, many of them are hit, however, just like most car manufacturers who release fragrances. And it is Ferrari Radiant Bergamot. This is definitely a hit. Just like the name implies, this is a bergamot heavy fragrance that takes on a level of complexity with notes in it that are often associated with seasonal fragrances, meaning like cooler weather fragrances. So this makes this, in my book, hyper versatile. It is something that is best utilized in the bright sunshine of spring and summer months. However, you can wear it year round. Radiant Bergamot was released in 2016, and it's perfect for daytime and nighttime casual wear. It features notes of bergamot, big shocker there, but it also has ginger, lemon, nutmeg, geranium, rosemary, lavender, amber, oak moss and patchouli, and no, there's no lavender in here. I just got caught up with my notes. So sans lavender. This fragrance initially opens up bright and citrusy, but once that dies down, it starts opening up in complexity and becomes a very unique blue fragrance. There's a good blend of florals and woods in here, however it does maintain its citrusy heart throughout the life of the fragrance. Primarily it's the woods that carries it as the base notes in most fragrances do. The citruses just capture your imagination, but they don't keep you. Once they go away, you got a heady, lightly floral, semi-sweet, energizing, and vibrant masculine fragrance. This fragrance is so versatile, I would even feel comfortable wearing it on a date night. Ferrari's presentation is really nice. The flacon is well made. The lid is reminiscent of a gear shifter in a Ferrari vehicle. As you can see that, it's got the kind of faux leather around it. That's a nice feature of the fragrance itself. You can find Ferrari Radiant Bergamot at most online discounters, and that's the surprising thing about this wonderful fragrance. You can get it for right around 20 bucks, pretty much everywhere. It is an eau de toilette concentration, and this is a 100 ml bottle. I hope you were able to find something in this list that appeals to you. However, if you have your own list or you feel there are fragrances that were left out that should have been added, make sure to list those in the comments below. Certainly like to hear your thoughts on these. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. As always, thank you so much for your support, your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.